The time 2:33. Right, welcome back to the 123 show with me, Noreen Mir, this Wednesday afternoon. Let's turn to our final topic, fresh off the wires. Hong Kong Free Press has been granted legal aid to bring a judiciary review against the government, which challenges a policy that has so far barred them from press conferences and excluded them from government press releases. For comment, we're now joined by Tom Grundy, the editor-in-chief of Hong Kong Free Press. Thanks, Tom, for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Noreen.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe let's back up a little bit. Paint us the picture. We were aware that you were barred from all government conferences until now?
Well, yes. As you know, we're an independent, non-profit online media source, and from the very beginning, our biggest hindrance has been this rather archaic policy from the government, whereby because we're not printing on dead trees, we're not allowed into government press conferences to, ask officials questions in the public interest, to go to the press briefings on Tuesdays with CY Leung. Simply because we're online only. We also can't get access to government press releases in a timely way. So, when other media are racing, to get these responses up, we're left in the lurch along with other digital media in Hong Kong.
So what is the status of HKFP at the moment? It's how would you classify it? It's a digital online news platform?
We're a newspaper. I think, the vast majority of people now are accessing their news through the internet, generally through a mobile device and often through Facebook, certainly in Hong Kong, where we have the biggest smartphone penetration in the world. And, print editions of newspapers are in terminal decline. So times have very much changed. So the government needs to update its policy. So as of today, we announced that we haven't been granted legal aid, we've been offered legal aid, which suggests that the legal aid department feels there is some merit in having a judicial review of this policy. And the human rights lawyers I've been working with, their senior counsel, has said that, it has a good chance of succeeding under the Bill of Rights ordinance.
But you're not the only ones that are singled out. Is it all digital online news platforms that they're not granted this sort of invitation by the government to go to their press conferences?
Yeah, so that's our next step, to try and engage other media outlets and parties who may be interested in fighting this. And I know that the FCC and the Electronic Correspondence Club, the Hong Kong Journalists Association, are supportive of reforming this. But yeah, it affects everyone who's online, and certainly after Occupy, there's been a blossoming of online media outlets. So it's only fair that, they should be given access to. CY Leung last month was bleating about, press freedom being essential to maintaining Hong Kong's competitiveness and a free society. But at the same time, you have policies like this. And the government also reckons Hong Kong is a tech hub and it's cutting edge. But it can't even deal with digital news media. I have to install Netscape 2 or whatever to just pay my taxes. So you could have told me.
What sort of back and forth have you been having with the government? I presume you've written to the ISD. What did they say to you?
Had a very frustrating back and forth with the government. So since we were founded, actually, we were writing to them and having email back and forth, to understand the reasoning, why we may not be allowed access. We did a freedom of information request to understand who they are allowing access to. And I know the BBC has a couple of passes, the TVB has 3. Things like the Jakarta Post, the ABC, Australian broadcasting TV station in Australia, have access. So I don't understand how access can be given to foreign TV broadcasters, but not to, bona fide news media in Hong Kong. And, I can understand the debate when we've had these back and forths about it being difficult to define online media and, do you let in bloggers and people with big Twitter followerships or whatever. But certainly Hong Kong Free Press is in no such grey zone because we have an office, we're a registered company, we've got qualified journalists, they're Hong Kong Journalists Association members. These things together are enough to get us into LegCo. We can, report on what's being discussed with lawmakers whenever. but it's seemingly not enough for the government. I don't know if we need unicorn blood or whatnot.
But you still manage to report on some of these press conferences. Then how do you hear, and who do you rely on to feed you these information?
Well, as the government says, a lot of what they put out eventually ends up online and open, on their own news platforms and Twitter feeds and whatever. But
you can't actually go to these conferences.
No, we certainly can't ask questions ourselves either. I've only managed to get in, as a freelancer when I've done broadcast work or whatever. So
when you go to these conferences, do they sort of flat out deny you your entry even?
Yeah, so we tried it in the run-up to this, and it was just no entry. I was turned away and told to contact the ISD again. So, there's no way we can, as a news outlet, hold officials to account like that. And we come to things late. And even if it's 10 minutes late, that's an eternity with breaking news.
Absolutely.
Because you have got competitors.
Yeah. Well, Tom, maybe let's talk about the definition. I mean, how do you define? I mean, at the moment, you are a newspaper, yes, but you're on the digital platform. So if the government grants you this permission, then where do you draw the line? What's to stop a YouTuber from broadcasting and commenting on the news? Where do you draw this line?
Well, there can be a discussion about where the line is, and as I say, there is this grey zone, but I just don't think we're anywhere near it, because we've done everything we can to be as legitimate as possible. We're clearly not, a blog or a social media feed. We're reporting in the most impartial way possible every day the goings on in government. In less than a year, we've produced almost 4,000 pieces of content and comment pieces. So, let there be that debate. I don't think the government should be deciding who is media and who isn't. But I also don't think that we're anywhere near any such grey zone.
What about, I'm referring to a letter from the Director of Information Services to you earlier, and they're saying that in the absence of a legally binding registration or licensing regime, so maybe does your company have a binding registration, or what are they referring to?
I think they're referring to the lack of any sort of legislation that refers to what media is, and I'm not sure we would want that. What's been suggested is that we register as a newspaper and have a print edition, but the costs are prohibitive, and I'm not sure we want to jump through those hoops. I don't know how many, because they won't tell me print editions you would need or how often. But the first task, I think, is to just challenge this to ensure that they update this archaic policy for the sake of all online media in the city. It's not a problem in other cities around the world. Even in the White House, press briefings, you have online media such as Huffington Post and BuzzFeed who are allowed to ask questions. So why is Hong Kong so far behind?
Sure. Well, what's next then? Are you going to take on the government for a judicial review then? Well,
Legal Aid do want a contribution from me, and it's a big one. So we're seeking donors and perhaps other lawyers who may be interested, other media outlets who may be interested in this case and taking it forward.
Yeah, well, the government does have a poor track record in judicial reviews. They've lost several ones: Pakistani asylum seekers, harbour protection, and Zhongfeng Yun. So you might be able to beat them in this one as well.
I hope so. I think that the timing is right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for joining us this afternoon. Best of luck, and keep us posted as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks.